Hey everyone, Rick with G12 Communications. Today, our discussion is going to be all about the fax machines, fax service, that sort of thing, not the other fax. But anyhow, today's discussion is all about planning your voice over IP migration, whether it's SIP trunking, SIP PRIs, or cloud PBX services. Something to consider is your fax service. You may have users that are used to a fax machine that like the fax machine. You may be in an industry or sector that uses it, a heavy fax user. So healthcare, education, finance, those sectors use a lot of faxing services still. So by all means, the fax service is an important piece of your business's migration to voice over IP. So let's talk about what we see in the field. So number one, when you're migrating to either SIP trunking or SIP PRIs, we do see a lot of fax machines connected to those systems, to those PBX, whether ShoreTel, MyTel, they're connected in some way. And they're using a line off of that system. Well, when you migrate to a SIP version of that, whether it's trunking or SIP PRI, the fax services don't work as reliably. And so whenever you're migrating, if you're a G12 customer, for example, and you're migrating to our trunking or our SIP PRIs or even our cloud PBX solution, we do advocate for a solution that is that's a fax sort of replica, or a POTS line replica, if you will. So you often hear terms ATAs out there. Well, here's an ATA right here from Audio Codes. It connects to our fax clusters in Seattle, in DC, and in Dallas. And what this does, this fax device essentially mirrors or mimics a POTS line. So you can see in the ports here, it's pretty straightforward and simple. You've got a WAN port here, so you connect that to your wall or to your internet feed or a port off of your switch. You do have a LAN port here if you're going to daisy chain a PC off of it or something like that. And then you've got two RJ11 jacks. See, these are RJ45s because they're Ethernet, and these are RJ11s, the old school sort of phone lines. And these go to your fax machine. There's two ports on these devices. Now, these devices, you couldn't, for example, here's a good question that was brought up to us last week. A customer asked if they could plug in a standard telephone to it and use it as a standard telephone device as well. The answer is no. This particular device is built for faxing only. And what it does is it chops up the fax packets into an HTTPS packet and sends that over to the fax clusters that then send out that fax from there. And then vice versa, you get a fax inbound. So these devices register directly with the fax clusters. So it's a POTS line mirror. If you're coming off of a traditional phone system and using our cloud solution, this is one of the devices that you use to make your fax machine work. Now, there's other solutions out there, like you can talk about fax to mail. So faxing from your desktop, faxing from your email client out to the world, and then also portal-based fax where you log in, you upload your document that's going to be faxed. So those are solutions as well that are out there. One of the things that I would strongly consider is if you are migrating yours to SIP trunking, to cloud PBX, or to fax PRIs, I'd really consider investigating your fax options at that point and determining what you're going to migrate them to. Sometimes it's an afterthought where you decide you're going to migrate and then all of a sudden your faxes don't work and your IT guys are stuck sort of troubleshooting things, and then it isn't until later that they determine, we migrated to some voice over IP and faxing isn't working as well. So one of the things to consider is, by all means, figure out the fax services as you're migrating to voice over IP so that you can kind of head that off at the pass. There are some nice things that we do is we do sort of a combination product where you've got a device here to make the fax machine work, but you can also have it mirrored over to an email address so you can kind of acclimate your user base to an electronic version if that's an option for your organization. So this is Rick with G12 Communications. Just thought we'd throw a little tip out there when migrating to voice services, whether it's G12 or somebody else out there. We're here to help with the transition. Thanks so much. Take care. You guys have a nice day. Bye now.